Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Stuff and Things. It is Paper Pumpkin time. I had company last week. Paper Pumpkin has been here for an entire week, and the company just left. It is Hello Spring, February 2025. I have been busy with company, so I'm not really sure what we're in for, but because it says Hello Spring, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I think it's spring. So we're gonna save this for later. Petunia Pop is our spot. I don't open my spots. I use my re-inkers or full-size ink pads or my own spots. Oh, and look at that. So we've got some lovely green foliage. I hope everybody's winter is going well. I am ready for winter to be over. We're having a very unseasonably cold winter here in Florida. We get a few warm days and then it gets super cold. When our company was here last week, or this is the tail end of the week, it rained on them. Because I popped out the stamp set, let's just look what we have. To a wonderful friend, sending love for you with the reverse. Drop out letters. Hello, spring. Happy Easter. Thanks for helping me grow. Chives. A little chive topper. And some little pixely generic stuff. Very cute set. I have some linen trim and double-sided tape. Our envelopes, as I see, are seed bag shaped, and there are 9 of them. We have the inside of the envelope all the way through on both sides, actually. So I'll be cutting this apart and I will share with you all of the pieces you can make with it. A giant sheet of dimensionals. I don't think I've ever seen a sheet of dimensionals that large. It's quite something. So the envelopes are still standard size because we have, looks like we have 9 total. So here's one design. Looks like it is sort of forced to be a horizontal card because the sprigs, looks like it's herbs, go vertically. We have some die cuts. Very nice. Linen. Okay, so that's what this stamp is linen for a texture. 3 of those. Some labels and layers. 2 sheets of those. And then a tan and brown linen double-sided. So that's enough to make 18 cards right there. Now we have die cuts. Herb die cuts. Mint, basil, and chives. And we have 4 sheets of, 3 sheets. And then we also have this additional sheet with 3 more layers. And these look like sort of a ticket looking. So I can see all sorts of fun things. And I don't know if I've mentioned before, but green is my favorite color. So our color palette is Petunia Pop and greens. Let's grab the instructions. Not to look at the instructions, I just want to give you the colors. Basic beige, bubble bath, lemon lime twist, lost lagoon, old olive, petunia pop, and bronze. So I'm going to go away now and start thinking about alternatives. I will be doing some prep. You can betcha that I'm going to, with the white base card fronts, I will be embossing, sanding, distressing, all that good stuff. Then I'll come back, talk a little bit about added materials and what I've done with these materials. and then we'll get started on our layouts. Stay tuned. I am back. We will see how long I get to film without pausing. I have a kitten. You've had him for almost 2 months now. His name is Lucky. I might have mentioned him last month. And he is out in the screen room sunning himself. We have a lovely day here in Florida. It has been a very cold winter, so anytime he can be out enjoying the sun, I let him do so. But that means he might come back and visit. Okay, so I have prepared a bunch of materials and we will go through them and then get right into mixing and matching. I have, for prep, I cut all of the card fronts in half for today. I do have some full-size ones as well. I did some sponging around the edges. I've got some layouts here. So I did some sponging. The sun is changing from sunny, it's now cloudy. So hopefully I will keep track of our lighting. We're in natural light today. So anyhow, we've got some, I sponged here with Lost Lagoon, which, just so you know, the next darker color that you can use, and I do have a couple pieces of it, is Pretty Peacock is the next darker color. But when you sponge, here is a embossed sheet of Lost Lagoon for a card front, and then you can see that it is quite dark when I sponge it on. My pads are pretty juicy. So I've added Old Olive ink, Lost Lagoon ink, Pretty Petunia ink, done some white heat embossing on the sentiments, and let's see, anything other than that. I do have one, I was trying to mimic the bronze, so I do have some, I don't even know what brand it is, heat embossing for a sentiment, just for fun. As promised, I did take our very unique shaped envelope, and I only have 1/2 of it here in my hand. So that's strange. Where did the other piece go? So this is the 1/2 of the envelope. The other side is basic beige. Oh, here it is. I see it buried. So I cut it down, and you've got the flap that has some glue. You can cut the flap off and do some fun things with it. Oh, and here we have the cat. That's Lucky saying hi. So I'm going to go pause for a minute and get him settled wherever he wants to be next. And then I'll be back to continue on with you guys. All right, I have returned. Lucky needed another playtime. Now he is out enjoying the screen room and a little lunch. Okay, so where are we at? We were talking about envelopes. These envelopes are A2 size. They have some interesting cuts on them. So what I wanted to point out with these envelopes is that it's a vertically aligned pattern of the 3 different herbs, and then the card base that we have is horizontal, and I am sure that's by design so that you can take the envelope, cut it up into pieces, and make vertical cards if you would like, since you are stuck with horizontally aligned card bases. And then you can cut this piece apart, you can tear it apart, whatever you would like to do to get the envelope pieces usable. All right, so I didn't see anything when I took apart the dies, which are all right here. I didn't see any interesting negatives to sponge into stencils or make into stencils. So I just wanted to point that out. I will also say that the roll of twine that we have to play with. I have a vast collection of them. They're all a tiny bit different, so if you have older kits, you can go ahead and extend your linen thread, just pulling all of your old stuff. I think I probably have way more than even what I'm just showing you here. So I just grabbed some, and then I have a couple of extra little stamps here from what my samples are. I did do some white heat embossing. The heat embossed sentiments are actually my favorites, and one of the reasons why I like heat embossed sentiments so much is that I don't have to deal with the photopolymer not filling in perfectly. So that is why you will see that I do a lot of heat embossed sentiments. So the other thing you can do is the Versamark Prime trick. If you find we do have two sentiments that are a very fat font. I have actually heat embossed one, and it's over here on a card. So that's where I would do the Versamark Prime, where you just use Versamark first, then you use your Petunia Pop. So that is a tip for that. You'll see that I did use, I have to get the set that this is from. If you want to add to your die cuts that you already have, I was looking for grasses, tall grasses, like maybe cattails-ish to complement the chives, or leaves to complement the other two, basil and what's our other one, and mint. So I don't know what this is, nor this, but I went with leaves. So I think leaves would be a good addendum. So this one set that I grabbed that I did not write down the name of. Did I write down the name? I did not. I just wrote sprig dies, grass, or leaves. So these are some of the dies that I will do layouts with today. I have pulled these trays. I have found with a kitten that I need to be prepared to, at a moment's notice, move everything. I can't any longer just leave things sitting on my desk for fear that the kitten will jump up onto my desk, because my desk is his freeway. He passes by me all day long. He's not a lap kitten, but he is a very interactive kitten, so he visits me all day long. So if I have my trays, and these are colored pencil trays, so they're just art trays. I have two of them out, and that means I always have these. These are my little trays you've seen for years that have the different bling, and then I also have my little dimensional sheet thingies that I use to raise up different elements. And so those are always out, but the trays are new. So everything's in trays. I don't leave my inks sitting open ever. They have to be closed immediately. I've already almost had real red get stepped on, so that was my lesson learned. Okay, so for embossing folders, we'll start with those because they're on the top. I have just the standard ones that we always like. Timber, plaid, got this at Christmas time. I didn't use this, but the leaf was interesting to me, even though it is fall leaves and it has a maple leaf. I thought that this might be good because of the leafy nature of the herbs. Then I decided to not use these because these are my favorites. I think I did timber in Mossy Meadow, so floating around here. But I chose to do this new one, which is like crochet. That one I haven't labeled yet. I should probably do that. So crochet. I have the website up. Oh, and it can't find it that way. It wants me to spell it out completely. Nope, we have a plane going overhead. I I noticed the lighting outside. That worked. Okay, so it's called Cute Crochet 3D. So I need to get that labeled. And then I used Distressed Tile because I think that is very beautiful. So I have, I think, Lost Lagoon in that and in plaid. And then I pulled some more because we've got, this is like a spring theme, and we have the words mint, chives, and basil. I grabbed some additional, these are retired, and their words, we have thanks and hello, celebrate, and oh, I have doubles. Wow. Sorry, let's celebrate is the set, and this says congratulations, and this says happy birthday. There we go. So I think that if you own these, consider bringing them out for the background. And then I also think I wouldn't do florals, I think, for this set, but you've got all these shapes. These are all retired. Stripes and splatters, cheery patterns, checks and dots. So whole bunch of different generic patterns I think would also be fun ones. And I think what I ended up on one of them, on the white, one of the whites, I did big dots, which is, came with a set of 3 embossing folders called the Basics. And I think they are no longer current. So that's embossing folders. For DSP, I picked wood and currently, well, wood and lace. Country woods and country lace. And I don't think I ended up making any layouts, but this particular paper, there's this white. I actually just used the white on my Easter cards. This whitewashed wood. And then there's this wood on the back. So there's wood on both sides of this one. And then this dark wood. And then there's a blonde wood as well that's floating around here. So any of these woods I think would be fantastic. I think that with the lace, there's basic beige is one of the colors. And there's this pattern. There's a gray pattern. There's navy blue, denim, and then that other side. For Petunia Pop, I actually grabbed a paper I have not used a lot of, and it is perennial something. I'm trying to find it here. Here is one of the pieces from it. This is the back side, and then this is the front side. And it actually goes nicely with the perennial Petunia Pop. Here is Petunia Pop. And here's the markers. And so there's a hint of that pink on these papers. And so I have a couple of layouts with this. And the name is Perennial Lavender. So that is a DSP that I picked to go with that. And then one more, kind of a masculine paper that has some Lost Lagoon, Night of Navy. It has the Mossy Meadow and some gray. It also has a sheet with these little die cut pieces, and it is called Take to the Air. It is from the annual catalog. I have a couple of samples playing, well, one layout playing with this, but you could definitely go pretty far with that as well. And I believe for the DSP, oh, and one more. I love this new Timeless Plaid that I just got. So I have a couple of designs. I have one that's kind of an odd color combination here, and then a nice plaid, these two plaids, I have some layouts to play with. And then the back sides, this would be great. And I see I already pulled out. This is the pile that doesn't have all the ones that I pulled. I think that this one could work. I really love this one right here. So, being that I have mostly masculine, my family is largely male, I'm sending out plaid. Anytime I can get a plaid or a masculine set like the Take to the Air, I grab it over the florals. Okay, so that's it for paper. I did for the specialty paper. I already showed you. I have the silver, it's lined, I think it's brushed silver and gold with the leaf dye. So I did both silver and gold for today. And vellum. I just grabbed, I don't know where, the vellum is already on a layout. So you can use any vellum. I used some old striped vellum because it was sitting over by my die cutter. So for trims, I already showed you the linen thread that I have like many different rolls of it. I have this combo striped white. I also have the basic white, and I took a Petunia Pop marker, and let's see, it was drying. So here is Petunia Pop Light with the basic white. And then I even made a knot, so I'm going to make a knot for this. Yeah. And then I also have this cording that is pretty bright. It's like Coastal Cabana, but I use it as well. So you can make a knot out of this, or you can lay it flat. I don't tend to take anything that's 1/4 of an inch or thicker and turn it into a bow. I find that they're too heavy. Unless I'm going to do a multi-layered bow, then I will cut my ribbon in half and make bows from that. Like this really fat iridescent, I will cut into 3 pieces actually and make it many layers thick. So I think any white or cream that you can then take your blends and color works well with this kit. And what else? Okay, for bling, I just grabbed the adhesive backed swirl dots. These are current. I tried to stick with some current items, though these days I kind of use whatever I like. And I've got, now that I am settled in a home and I've got everything from my mom's house because they've now moved here. So all of my crafting supplies from the last 20 plus years is all now here with me. So I use what I've got. I like the neutral adhesive backed sequins. I really love the textured dots. So I have a few of those here in my little bin. And then I did even take, here we go, and I colored with the Petunia Pop the iridescent pearls. So I've got those colored. And I'm not really picky. You know, I noticed that these aren't even from side to side. I just kind of do a quick swirl. And if they end up not having a smooth, even color on them, I don't care. I think they look great. And so on that note, I don't have anything to demo today, really. I did sponging, but I didn't do any roughing up of edges. I may end up doing roughing up of edges. And before I move on, I do want to talk about, let's look at my list. There are 2 really nice stamping bundles that beautiful butterflies or sketched butterflies. I have one background that I stamped with sketched butterflies, the small butterflies. This is the stamp. And I just did this in basic beige as just a subtle background, something other than grasses, and I already had some floral elements from the perennial lavender DSP. And then the coordinating set is called Grow with Love, and it has herbs, and it has this framed, these frames are basic beige, and they are that bronze metallic. And I found one heat embossing that was somewhat bronzish, and you will see it later. I don't even know what brand it is. It's not a Stampin' Up! Brand. So on that note, with no demos, we can get just right into some layouts. And I tried to do harder layouts than simpler layouts, and I'm not going to do any basic stamping. So I'm going to grab, here is a tray. I will put it off to the side, but here is tray number 2, where I have got everything ready that should the cat approach us, which he's locked out in the screen room, so he won't be able to interrupt at this point. So I've got this set off to the side, and oh, there's one more stamp. There is a new stamp set that's textured. It's, oh, and I didn't write it down. Elements of text, I did write it down. There is one card that I did stamp that as an example for you to consider, and that is just a nice text. There's a circle with text, a long horizontal. Those are both with cursive, and then what I picked is small typewriter text with a bunch of splotches for one of my backgrounds. Okay, so on that note, we will get to some card designs, and my goal is always to come up with 25 designs for you guys, or 20 or more, sorry, not 25, 20 or more designs to inspire you guys. So this is the cute crochet, and I think if you wanted to sponge the edges with Petunia Pop or Lost Lagoon, for instance, I think that adding more dimension to this would be great, and you could put, rather than white, you could very easily make it more colorful. I'm going to use that for the moment, and hopefully remember to pause in between all my layering. You could rough up the edges of this. This is the Perennial Lavender, and then I've got this. This is cording that actually goes really well. It's a little bit too bright, but it still is the same tone. And then you can take one of the die cuts. I went ahead and stamped on, this is one of the labels that you get, and you could do, there's 2 labels. I picked this shape, but you've also got this shape label, and you can flip it over if you want to just have the Hello Spring in Petunia Pop on white. And I was going to grab, I've not grabbed my sanding block yet this month. By now I normally have it out. But because I haven't sponged, because I always sponge, I don't have it nearby. So the chads hanging off the edges here, you can just use your sanding block and instantly get rid of them very, very quickly. So I am going to do a layout here. And I've got the vellum leaves. Oh, I owe you this set. What set is this from? I think it's Romantic Blossoms or something. Let me look it up. Blossoms. Let's see what we have. I'm guessing. No, maybe I'm wrong. Okay. I try to write all this stuff down. There's nothing for romantic, so that's clearly not it. Okay, I will keep going though, and the most important part is that I just think that going with some leafy dyes, whatever you have, over floral dyes is what my focus is for the layouts today. All right, so we have on this these different leaves, and then a tall spriggy leaf, and then I have the die cut. I have chosen one that goes into the Lost Lagoon, which coordinates with, this is actually like shaded spruce, but it still will go. And have one single leaf extending. I think I will put it over the top. And then Hello Spring is off to the side. And here is a bow. So I told you that I had made 3 colored iridescent pearls. Find a good spot. I try to make a triangle. And I am always interested in putting them on top of my other die cuts. And then to show you if you wanted it less colorful. And then we have these cute white flowers. So I think white would be a very cute base on this. I have another Hello Spring. Oh, and I am looking for it. Oh, I see it. It's buried underneath all of this. Okay, so I'm going to take this Hello Spring. It isn't the right color, is it? All right, so we're not going to go with that. I told you I hadn't done any work with the wood grain, so I think it would be fun to do a horizontal, see if I can do a horizontal with the wood grain showing. And I need this to be, oh, and see, going to cut a smaller piece. What I like about this is I can take this wood piece and cut it. So if you have scraps, here is a way that you can extend your scraps. Cut them, and then you can connect them underneath and have a nice layout there. I'm just going to take the same little chunk of stuff this underneath and pop that up. I would want, if I had more time, I would make the vertical fatter and maybe even take the wood and make it thinner. And then I have a second card. If you wanted, I have another couple of options for the trim. I do have the basic beige in a knot. somewhere I have my bow, a double bow. Yeah, it's up here. And then it's possible that if you are thinking that's lots of pink, the other thing too is we did get some extra shapes. So I have this white circle that might help break up the corner here. Oops. There's another really good circle die cut that has shapes around the edges of the circles, and I can't remember what it's called, but that would be a nice choice. And I need one more. Go. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. And then I have a different, put that because I might use the pieces. I have a I'm going to grab the white from this one. This is a vertical, and it's, again, you could sponge, you can rough up the edges. This is where I did my die cuts. I always try to do die cuts and then reuse my pieces. This is the perennial lavender. And then I have some layering that I did. This is the card base, that the blue card base, or the Lost Lagoon card base. You could emboss that and then rough that up if you want the white. It is a white core, but I did not do that today. I did choose Pretty Peacock here. And then this is a heat embossed Sending Love in white. I love that it is right justified, and I think it goes very nicely offset. And then if you want to have some die cuts, you could choose to use like vellum off the edge, some vellum here, and then I did make a white, unless I can't find it, right here. A little and then for the bling, this is the swirl dots. They actually, I think, go better with the basic beige, but and it looks like we have overcast skies, so I'm going to lighten things up a little bit. All right, so I love the pop of the color. There's not a lot of petunia pop happening here. So I was thinking that if I swap out Sending Love and we pop in Hello Spring, that would be a fun option. And of course, I need to move everything over a little bit to accommodate where I put the Hello Spring. And then because we have the minimal purple, it's all about the layering. And I have somewhere here, we could do that bow, but what I'm looking for is my petunia pop. And let's see if I can find it. Here it is. So it is possible that for our purposes today, we're just going to make a line, but I could turn it into a knot if I wanted to. But I'm showing the nice array of the petunia pop and how nice it looks with the Lost Lagoon. I am going to set this all aside now. And I am going to alter some colors. So again, perennial lavender. You can even minimize the perennial lavender impact. I've got the skinnier, like I said, these are all remnants from my initial cuts that I made from this piece. Which would also go nicely. Of course, I haven't trimmed this piece down. So you can just do all sorts of crazy things with the color combinations that they came up with. I'm even thinking if you raise this up, you put this down, you can do a lot of things with this Sending Love Being Right Justified. My favorite location to put sentiments is the bottom right, so that lends itself perfectly. All right, so moving along, and you'll notice that the petunia pink, these that I colored, and I was very quick with it. This one is much paler than the other two, and I am totally okay with them being varied in color. I want to change gears. We did get a metallic. This is a linen, but it is bronze. I hope that you can see the flash of the bronze. So I wanted to move on to a completely different card. Here is the butterfly from Sketched Butterflies, stamped all over with basic beige on white. And then I'm going to do some fun things with it. I mean, you can certainly, I don't think I trimmed this down though. So we're going to start with the layout that I already have before we go off the beaten path. So we were given two sizes of frames, the small frame and a long frame. I'm going to use the long frame. I'm going to, oh, it looks like I did something like this. I think I did it tall. Yes, there we go. This is the Hello Spring that I heat embossed. You could use copper clay. That would be a Stampin' Up color. I think would coordinate perfectly. And then we've got this mint. Mint or basil, one of the two. I am using the Old Olive. And then we have Hello Spring. A carefully placed knot. And then I would be putting the textured dots. Oops, that one fell. And then here I could see, as I said, you could use circle dies, but this came just adding it as an interesting shape. And then put the I really like how, and you could use copper clay sponging. We have white core on both of these basic beige elements, so you could dry emboss and then sand with the block. You can add more leaves if you wanted. I wanted to get something using the bronze, and the gold heat embossing was too gold, so it didn't quite go. And then there are these other leaf elements that you could add if you wanted to. I just really like that a lot. If you wanted and you didn't want to go that route and you wanted to emphasize more the basic beige, these are the swirl dots. All right, so I'm going to move right along. Time is going by quickly. I think you're getting the idea that we've got some very different, with 3 different card bases. It gives us 3 very different possibilities. So taking this, I'm going to move on to one of these plaid, because now the butterflies are so small, you just see little bits of basic beige showing. And we can go. You could do this vertical or horizontal, by the way. So this also works perfectly with the Hello Spring. You have to move this over so that it fits. Now another thing we could do. So you will have to consider the colors. This is very gray and that is very creamy. I'm not going to deal with that on this one, but you can always sponge. That's how I would deal with it. I would probably sponge with copper clay around the chives. I would also sponge around the bronze flicked linen layer. And let's get some bling. And I've already lost, here we go, with losing one of the textured dots in my travels. That's how this goes. Here is a knot. And that looks fantastic. I found it. Right. And that looks great. You could even take this same idea and you've got these open die cuts. I do think that I don't have an old olive. I'm gonna try, I do have Mossy Meadow. And I am going to do a couple of Mossy Meadow elements. I think that that also looks fantastic. I would like to pop up this die cut. All right, so that is another look using the plaid. And I have one more. Get these out of the way. So don't forget that there's all these other colors of possibilities. What I'm curious about is the gold. I didn't do any gold layouts, and I want to see if I can make this look fancy. I've got the gold. I think that this leaf would look better in the corner down here. All right, and then the last thing for this one, since we changed to the white, how does it look with the basic beige? I did not prepare any gold trim, but that would also look fantastic, as well as gold dots, which I don't have any gold dots out. So I really like that plaid. Then I'm probably going to pause. I have to regroup because I want to dig up a couple last layouts before I go. Actually, let's see if I can just power on through because I found them. Now we are, so we've done some Lost Lagoon. We are going to go, we've done the basic beige, we've done the petunia pop. Now I would like to move fully into the old olive. I do have, before we go old olive, this is the take to the air. And this is one of the sheets, has all of these tags and things. And I love this sky with the clouds. I'm going to go with the vellum. We have this basil here that I want to pop up. I need a pop-up element. I'm going to use this. Sending Love is popped up, so we're going to just use it as a layer. And you could be very lined up, or you can do lots of angles like I'm doing here. And you can punch a hole if you want in your tag. And I am going to add Hello Spring. I need a little pop up. Here it is. So I went ahead and did the white heat embossing on what is supposed to be this little label, is probably meant to be a mat, and I have made it an actual tag. And now I want to add, again, you're noticing this is very masculine, which I love. I have not trimmed, oh, I dropped one of them. I have not trimmed down the mossy meadow, but I think it would look great, oh, here it is, with a white, thin mat for the base. Yeah, this is one of my favorites right here. All right. Again, this is Take to the Sky, and there's lots of other pieces that go very nicely with it, with this kit. Now I'm going to grab, and I'm going to start with, let's not lose these wonderful dots. I've got white. I have what I was saying, I used the texture. It is called Elements of Text. It has the splat and it has the text. I could rough up the edges. I could emboss this if I wanted. I did cut a card base in half and sponged it. I do have this piece I actually didn't originally put with it. I'm trying to keep track of all my dots. And I could just center everything if I wanted. Yeah, it would have to be centered. I do have a circle sentiment just for this, because I wanted to show you all of the different shapes. Let's see if I can find it. Found it. Oh, and I have guess we liked it offset. So here's yet a completely different color tone. You could make the text straight because basil, the word basil, is also straight. I think I might like white for the contrast. And there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to take a small, now this is basic beige. We still have our white. And I like the idea of an herb. This I don't like as well, but that uses more of the pieces. We could even say we want to get rid of this. And let's now grab this piece. This now is starting to use more and more of our pieces that came with the kit. But if you cut all of your card bases in half, you end up with 36 of them because it's front and back. So you get 18 card front shapes. What we're missing here is perhaps a really like that. And now we can have Hello Spring be crooked like this. Probably this way though. Because we don't have the word mint. So it can be offset. So I think that's it to illustrate all of the different pieces. And I will go away, see if I've got some more photography to take for the showcase at the end. Again, another fantastic kit. They just do not go wrong on their kits. I did not share any of the white, these white or probably this bronzy color sequins. Those would also, both of these colors would be great. I don't have any of the gold yet left. Those were used at Christmas time. So if I'm missing any ideas, please pop them into the comments. I will approve them so that we all can learn together the best ways that we can extend this kit to its full capabilities. Do all of the YouTube things like share, comment, consider subscribing. I will be back next month for the next kit, and I hope to see you all there. Thanks for watching.